Hare Krishna. I'll invite a few people here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. I just thought I'd read some verses here about important subject. So the question is, are we dependent on the spiritual master's mercy? Are we dependent on the mercy of the Vaishnavas? I think this is a very important point to understand and discuss. And so anyway, I wanted to read some verses here, or a verse here. So this is from Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So there's a verse quoted in the first chapter of Caitanya-caritāmṛta, text 9. Srimad Bhagavatam, text starting from 7 or 6. First, I want to offer my obeisances to the dear devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Then I want to offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He incarnated in the town of Navadvip, and he is named Vishvambara. In the Vedas and the Puranas, the Lord has firmly declared, worship of my devotees is better than worship of me. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord himself declares, worshipping my devotees is better than worshipping me directly. That is my opinion. So therefore I will begin by offering my respectful obeisances to the devotees. That act will bring success to my efforts. So isn't that amazing that Krishna himself and Lord Chaitanya quoted this verse, that worship of my devotees is better than worshiping me. And Lord Chaitanya mentioned this again when he was talking to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya before he converted him. He said to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he said, will Lord Jagannath break my bonds of ignorance? See, will Lord Jagannath directly break my bonds of ignorance? No, you will. You will take the ignorance away from me by instructing me properly. So in other words, trying to go directly to the Lord to get mercy is very difficult and very rare. I mean, you get something you see in the Lord is auspicious. The temple and chanting the names is very auspicious. But it's the devotee's mercy that is more important. And it's easy to lose sight of, because but that's why we're reminded of it in the scriptures, that we should always appreciate and actually we're dependent on the mercy of the Lord's devotees. I mean, in so many ways. I mean, the scriptures are written by these kinds of realized devotees who have realized the truth. These devotees, they inspire us with real bhakti. They help cut down the weeds also that want to be watered sometimes, by this bhakti. And it's very important not to lose sight of that. So we're dependent on the mercy of equally of the Vaishnavas and the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So when people really truly start to awaken, they just naturally give glorification to the Lord's devotees, especially one's guru that awakens one. And not to do that, we can lose sight of our real interest there, and it can be a big problem. It's easy to go into this realm of ungratefulness, because it's the mercy of the devotees that keep us inspired on our path. Without that, they actually, it's by their association that it increases our ecstasy. Even when we read the scriptures, it increases our ecstasy. And then if you have living devotees that are actually empowered by the Lord, they increase our ecstatic worship. Okay? That's why it says it's to those who are equally devoted and worship both the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the purports of the scriptures are revealed, the real essence. Otherwise, without that equal faith in the Supreme Lord and the bona fide spiritual master, the purports won't be revealed right. You won't be understood correctly. Okay? So I notice people that are awakening here, they always, if they're really awakening, and they're just not getting like shadow attachment or para attachment, being in the association of a devotee who is awakened. See, so para and shadow is you get the moon-like rays being close to them. But those who are actually awakening, real deep from the heart, the Lord instructs them rightly, and they praise their guru, and this actually it enhances their bhakti just naturally. So equal faith and worship, adoration and admiration must go to the bona fide guru and the Vaishnavas, as well as the Supreme Lord, not just cut them out of the picture. Because if you do that, one will be deviant. That's you start watering the weed of the false ego that wants to cut everything out of the picture, and then just say, well, it's only God that's doing it. See, that's more of a Mayavadi thing. It's not the way it works. one's bhakti is enhanced by glorification of Guru, Vaishnavas, and the Supreme Lord. See, so to cut, and we're dependent on that mercy. This is as much as we're, and if not more so, we're more dependent actually, and this is why the Lord has said this. He said, worship of my devotees is better than worshiping me. That is my opinion. See? So that means we're actually more dependent on the devotee. The actual bona fide Shiksha and Diksha gurus, we're more dependent on them than we are on the Supreme Lord, because they help us understand bhakti better, because there's things in the way of our direct relationship with God, and the bona fide guru help remove these obstacles, because sometimes it's hard to communicate from within. There's all these coverings and all that, and so from without the guru is working. Right? They get us straight on conclusive truth, so that we're not preaching things that are inconclusive by our example. They see these things that we can't see. And if we listen to their opinions, see, like the Lord said, worship of my devotees is better than worshiping me. So we're more dependent on the mercy of a devotee than we are on the Supreme Lord, because the Lord even says it. See? So the devotees who are really awakening in a clean way, without any obstructions there, they just naturally give glorification and appreciation of their guru. So like being in a position here, I'm in the position of spiritual master now, and I see the devotees awakening like this, and they're giving praise to their guru. I say, the Lord's really instructing them nicely. See? And rightly. Not that I want to be like, it's not about that. It's about how to cultivate bhakti conclusively and in a clean way, so that we can go back to Godhead nicely, without deviation so much. See, so that's my mind, is I say, this person's understanding. This is the right way, the right understanding. See? Giving praise to the guru, and it also enhances their bhakti. They can feel it. They know it. You could see, like Johan, he gives praise to his guru, and you could see his voice chokes with emotion and all that. What's happening? What's that mean? That means he's pleasing Krishna in the heart. He's giving a conclusive action. See, and therefore, because of that, the Lord is very pleased, because it's the Lord inspiring him to glorify his guru in appreciation and gratefulness. See, so that's conclusive, and that's how you know conclusiveness. If one is not doing that, if one is cutting them out of the picture, then that's inconclusive, and that does not give happiness to the Lord. And if you have a bona fide guru, they'll tell you that, if they're really merciful to you. If you're not giving equal praise to guru as well as Krishna, and feeling dependent on the mercy of guru and Krishna and the Vaishnavas, you're inconclusive. You're not clear, and you've got a problem. See, there's going to be a deviation. There's going to be pride. That's usually what it is. It's pride. Okay? I'm not dependent on. We are very dependent. I'm dependent on Prabhupada's mercy. I'm dependent on following that order and instruction of Prabhupada to do what I'm doing here, to see what I'm seeing here. I'm dependent on that. It is by the grace of Prabhupada and Jesus Christ that I can do anything. Not just, I'm not dependent on any human being. No, I'm dependent on the mercy of somebody very dear and affectionate and close to God, man. Very dependent. That's why I can do what I do. Otherwise, forget it. No direct relationship with Krishna like that. Because of their mercy, I have a direct relationship with Krishna. It's always like that. If you cut guru out of the picture and don't feel yourself dependent on guru, our bona fide guru, then that's pride. You don't want to water that. You don't want to listen to that, to those who are not clear like that, because you'll become proud too. So you got to be careful about these subtle things, man. It's not about, if you want to understand this rightly, you got to understand these scriptures. Like it says, worship of my devotee is better than worshiping me. See? Guru is one. See? Guru is one. Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru is one in that sense. See? They're both empowered by Krishna. They're servant to Krishna. If you feel yourself dependent on Guru, then you're really understanding what dependence on Krishna is, because now it'll be revealed to you that that Guru is servant to Krishna. Krishna is coming in that form. That's one of the forms of Krishna. That's conclusive. That's chapter 1 of Caitanya-caritāmṛta. If you act against that conclusion, you're inconclusive and you're going off. You're watering a weed with the bhakti. You can be ecstatic, and you can take that water that you get from a bona fide guru coming through the disciplic line and put it on that weed, and it'll grow. And all of a sudden, you'll just feel yourself independent of guru. Oh, now I don't, need that. I'm not dependent on anybody. Well, you won't see a real Vaishnava say that. I'll never say I'm not dependent. I'm dependent on guru, man. Well, the ones who are awakening, my disciples who are really awakening nicely and cleanly, they say they give praise to their guru, man, and it brings tears to their eyes. What's that saying? Krishna's really pleased. That doesn't bring tears to your eyes. Say, well, I'm not dependent on my guru and Vaishnavas. No, it's not the way it works. See? So generally, people that have some intelligence, and our teacher likes, they have this thing. And I've seen a few people leave because of this. They're not dependent on, they can't give, adequate. So anyway, if bhakti is being watered and awakened properly, and if it isn't, the guru is there to stand if anybody's going to listen, So everybody should take note of this. Okay? We're dependent more on guru, the Diksha and Shiksha Guru and the Vaishnavas, more so than on Krishna, because Krishna is, Krishna is for those who have a pure, intimate, affectionate relationship, and that is gotten by proper worship and understanding and service to a bona fide guru. See? And then we get that, and then you'll be clear. You'll get clear. You'll get out of the probationary stage, and then you'll be clear, and your false pride will be dismantled. See? Wanting to cut the guru out of the way. Never want to do that, man. We're dependent on the mercy of Guru, Vaishnavas, and Krishna. I'll read this verse again. It's so important, these verses. So you can see the connections. Very important to see this. First, I offer my dandavat obeisances to the dear devotees of Lord Chaitanya. See, those who are conclusive, we're always doing that. The Lord, they're giving the mercy of the Vaishnavas to get to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya said, it's by the mercy and service to the Vaishnavas that I can get Krishna. He did it by his own example. See? So we're dependent on that mercy. We're dependent on the mercy of the Vaishnavas, all of us. See? So it's a very important lesson. So I first offer my dandavat obeisances to the dear devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Then I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He incarnated in the town of Navadvip. In the Vedas and the Puranas, the Lord has firmly declared, worship of my devotees is better than worship of me. See? Worship of my devotees is better than worship of me. So, worship means adoration, means praise of my devotees. Adoration, praise, worship, hearing. See? Is better than worship of me. That is my opinion, he says. So if that is being done, we will feel, oh yeah, I'm definitely dependent on the mercy. Because that's how we become ecstatic, is because of the devotees, man. You know, if you cut a devotee out, then you won't be ecstatic. You stop associating with ecstatic devotees, you won't be ecstatic. So we're actually dependent on the mercy of ecstatic devotees, right? Because if you cut them out of the picture, that ecstasy will be drained off and you'll be dry as a bone again. See? That's why Prabhupada stayed juicy, because he always praised his guru. He said, oh, my guru, it's by my guru's mercy I can do all these things. The juice, any juice I've got, I say, yeah, by Prabhupada's order. I follow that order. It's his mercy. That mercy keeps me alive and juicy with this juice. Otherwise, if you don't understand this, you'll dry up. As soon as you're outside of the association, you lose the para, or the shadow attachment, and you'll dry up, and then another guru will have to come present, and maybe you'll get the lesson then. Otherwise, when they go, you'll come to a point and dry up again. This happened to the God Brothers of Prabhupada. Many of them. They couldn't understand these subtle points. So, and that mercy is the order of the guru, you know. And so anyway, there's a lot of intricacies about that. That's another discussion, actually. We need to talk about it in another way. I was just trying to use an example, but that's not really. That's for something else. Use that example, but don't always remember that. We don't connect directly to the Lord. It's, you know, you won't feel that intimacy. We get it by the mercy. Aren't we reading these scriptures? We're chanting the mantra that Prabhupada has given us like this. You know, and if we get a Shiksha Guru again in this life, either Diksha or Shiksha Guru, you know, that awakens our devotion, just always remembering that and praising that. Because if you cut that out of the picture, if there's no praise, there's something wrong. Okay, so I just wanted to share a little bit of that. If you have any comments or questions, let us know. Let me know. Yeah, listen to devotees who praise their guru that are awakening. That's very important. Otherwise, you'll get the same problems. It's a very subtle thing. You don't want to do that. Okay. Hare Krishna, everybody. I'm going to go out and Sankirtan now, I think. Haribo.